Welcome, everybody. My name is Adam Kowalczyk, and I'm going to be narrating this video about integrating health and physical education. What we're looking to do is combine those two curriculums and those two content areas and how we can kind of benefit. We definitely know that a lot of the content is shared between health and PE. There's such a strong correlation, even though they can be very different at times. But there's a huge part of physical education that can be combined into the health classroom, and I think that that's a huge benefit for the health curriculum as well. So we're going to look at heart health and cardiorespiratory fitness. So we're going to dive right in. We're going to talk about a few different things. We really want to hit on what the kids should know, how to incorporate some of those hands-on activities and things that you might be doing, ways that you can improve your health lesson. We're looking at incorporating those PE lessons and techniques. Obviously, we're going to have a positive impact on the students and just talk a little bit about some student work and different lessons that the students might be engaged in. The first thing we're going to look at is skill-based versus academic learning. We know that you have to have both. I think there's a strong basis on the academic learning. There are things that the kids just need to know that might come from a textbook or a lesson, something a little bit more traditional. And then the second part is going to be the hands-on learning, that skill-based learning that we're really making such a strong push for. So a lesson about heart health might start in the classroom, and we're going to go through some specific examples shortly, but have some of those lessons about the parts of the heart, or talk about blood flow, blood pressure. That could lead into a real strong health lesson about blood pressure and how you can monitor that. What does blood pressure mean? What's kind of happening in your body? And it's a very academic lesson. And then we can look at, okay, well, what are some things that our body does naturally to change or alter our blood pressure? Maybe that's somewhat normal outside of exercise and physical activity. Then we can talk about blood pressure. Well, why does our blood pressure go up? What are the benefits of that? You could dive into the fight or flight response and different things that are occurring in the body. And then you have that we're going to go out and actually alter our blood pressure. We're going to do activities that might change our heart rate, our blood pressure, really working our muscles. And so that's going to be that skill base and that hands-on learning where they're going to feel what they should be in their body. And now they understand, okay, that's what that is. That's why our body does this. Now I know why it's doing that. So we're going to look at some different ways to really build PE into the health lesson. The first thing I love to do is just get the kids outside, have our classes outdoors. I think it really sets the tone for where we're going to be moving. And I think sometimes kids in the classroom kind of get confined to that. We're just here to sit in our desks and we're not really going to move around. And I've kind of learned over the years that that's not always the best environment. Sometimes you have to. If it's real quick, maybe we're just going to run in place for 30 seconds. Okay, I don't mind doing that too much in the classroom. You can also go to the gym, a courtyard, space where you can spread your kids out, get them moving, get them active. But I love getting the kids outside, and I think it's just refreshing for them to just get that sunshine, that fresh air. We're going to look at a lot of movement. We definitely want to get the kids moving. That's the whole point of this lesson and these activities, is to really get the kids active and moving. We don't want them sitting still. Even if it was just walking, we all are going to have those students that it's just very difficult for them to get into it and get involved. So sometimes I would just walk. If you could just walk, that would be a huge start. It's surely better than nothing. Different fun activities that are engaging. So I've listed a few, but we could obviously branch out a lot of different ways. But a small dance unit, kids love to dance. They can make these short little videos. They learn a lot of these little short dances online. Something walking or running. I think walking will be much easier to get kids to do. Different exercises, something like yoga, for example, would maybe not elevate as much as a dance would, but we're still getting the kids active and there's a lot of different ways to do that. And then there's different games or sports that they could choose. So we'll get into some examples here in a minute. So that hands-on cardiovascular learning, what we're looking at doing is really tracking heart rate. Sometimes they'll have heart rate monitors. I understand maybe not everybody will have a class set. For example, I don't have a class set of heart rate monitors, but this is one of my best units, I think, is just getting the kids active and feel it. We'll go through how they can track their heart rate. We'll go through in some of those classroom lessons, okay, well, where can you track your heart rate? Where's your radial pulse? Where else can you track your heart rate? Where do they feel it's most accurate if they're going to self-track and maybe time for 20 seconds? Okay, well, how many beats did I feel in 20 seconds? And then we'll take that number, multiply it by 3. So self-tracking maybe isn't quite as accurate, and I do tell them that there's different ways to do that, but a heart rate monitor would be more accurate. It's just not always feasible. So it goes into some of those estimates and really just feeling it. Even if we're not tracking the heart rate, we could always go through 3 or 4 different exercises or activities, drills, games. How did you feel during the walk? How did you feel during the run? Did you think your heart was about to beat out of your chest when you were running? Probably not when you were walking. And then you can generate just really good discussion with the kids about what they think the benefits are. If they're trying to really improve their cardiovascular health, is walking the best or running the best for them, or maybe a combination of a little bit of a walk-run combination or something like circuit training that might really get their heart rate up, and see what the kids want to do and what they think is most beneficial. So a simple lesson plan, obviously this is very basic, and I can always email out more detailed lesson plans. But what I want to do is just create different health lessons. So again, talking about the parts of the heart, blood pressure, what are the different numbers that when you read your blood pressure, what does that mean? Maybe a diagram of the blood flow. And then we'll set up 2 days for those active learning days. So they could do 3 to 5 different activities. Sometimes I'll have them do toss in a frisbee, and then they need to play ultimate frisbee, and then we'll compare and contrast. Okay, well, what got their heart rate more active? How does that compare to when we'll do running or jumping jacks? And then students throughout those different activities will just track their heart rate. They'll keep a little journal and say, okay, when I was walking and I tracked it at 2 minutes, 5 minutes, 10 minutes, here are my heart rates. I'll do the same thing for the frisbee, and I'll do the same thing for the ultimate frisbee, and then I'll have them run through some football drills, or they'll do a layup drill in basketball, and then they'll track their heart rate. How much did it get up? And then we can go back to the classroom and, again, just talk about compare and contrast of their heart rate and activity levels, what got their heart rate up the most, what had the highest average, and very specific examples of that could be found in my other video about heart health and incorporating those activities into the health classroom. So check out that video when you have just a moment. And of course, we're going to have a list of positive impacts on students. So that is, again, that skill-based learning is so important. We want the kids to feel the benefits. They understand, okay, this is why we're doing this or learning this. It's just so positive and uplifting. It's fun. It breaks up the routine. It gets everybody outside. It's just great to mix it up. And we know variety is important. Kids kind of, when they're doing the same thing every day, it gets a little boring and monotonous. And it's just a nice change up to get that hands-on learning, get them out of the classroom a little bit. I just think that's extremely important. And my contact information, if you have any questions, if you want to reach out, please shoot me an email. But again, this is really just about getting the kids outside, getting them active and engaged. They're learning about their heart. They're learning about heart health. Here are some things that we could do to improve our heart health. Here's why we want to improve our heart health. And you tie it all in a mixture of academic and hands-on skill-based learning. And I think that's going to be the best benefit for all the kids. So thank you so much. Take care, everybody.